Hi all and welcome to another guide for Palia. Today we take a look at fences in Palia and how we can spice things up a bit. We also share a few design ideas and inspirations for how you can use fences on your plot. While we so far only have one fence type available in-game, they don't need to look as basic as the default fences you find on your plot. Sadly, the color of fences can't be changed, though they can be distanced and placed more creatively. Here we have reduced the gap between the larger fence posts a bit, and it definitely changes the appearance. Reducing it to a gap of one post between, we got this look. The more interesting option is linked to placing posts separately. Here we place single posts with one gap in between. And of course, we can also place them separate in a long row to create a very robust look. All these possibilities also allow for ideas that combine one or more options. We can easily create new and interesting patterns by using separate posts and any of the options that have differently spaced fences. Now there are many ways of how you can apply these ideas to your home. And you can do this with much more than just the outer perimeter. For instance, you could use these ideas for around your gardening plot like we have done here, where we have combined a few spacing options. You could also use different fence designs to create barriers between areas, or to enclose elements. We'll show you a few ideas shortly. Let's take one step back to the basics. These are log cabin fences, and they are not expensive to craft. Though to create what we call a single fence, we actually need 11 of these. Though it's unclear if this then counts as 11 or one item when placed. With that comes a warning. There's a limit to placeable items per housing plot. The decoration limit is claimed to be 2000. While that sounds like a lot, it's worth having in mind. You click once to place the first post, then you look in any direction, that be horizontally or vertically, for the fence to automatically expand in size. As long as the outline is green, you have enough fence posts to place them. If it turns red, you don't. And there's also a counter to keep track. Once ready, you left-click to place the fence, and that action also allows you to continue a step 2, or 3, and so on. As long as you don't left-click twice when placing them, or right-click, you stay in the placement mode. This leads us to diagonal placement, which is not supported by the automated placement mode. We can only place diagonal fences by placing single fence posts like we do here. The last important note is the direction of the posts, as we can also control that. It might not be super important, but sometimes it can come in handy. Once you have clicked once to place a fence post, the easiest way to see the change is to target the ground just north, east, south or west of the post. As you can see, the design changes slightly. Here we have all possible directions, beyond a slightly changed pattern on top. This is the most notable element. You can use that knowledge to create symmetry or use it to ensure a quirkier look. Let's look at a few ideas in relation to enclosing something, like trees. Fence posts can easily be used around one or more trees to create a more unique look. Make them hexagons, squares, circles or anything really, and of course you don't have to make them single-only posts. Apply your knowledge and get inspired. While trees generally can be placed afterwards, it often makes sense to place them first, then apply the fencing to ensure it looks exactly the way you want it to look. Here's another quick idea involving the fireplace. We have placed single posts partly overlapping with the outside brick wall element of the fireplace. To place some of the posts, we had to remove the fireplace and place it back after the posts were in place. So, what is this, you might ask? Using single posts and a combination fence, together with the placement options we have shown you today, we have created a cool little element for our home entrance. We'd say your imagination is the only limit here, as there's a ton of different approaches that would work. It could be much larger, include rounded elements, and so much more. What about something quirkier? Well, we are only limited by our imagination as mentioned. So you could use what we have learned to create a fence that's far from regular and straight. You might have noticed that when placing posts diagonally, there's a small gap between. If you don't like that gap and are fine with Quirky, then you could double fill those rows like we're doing here. Taking the quirkier approach, let's look at another idea for a home entrance area. We have built this next to our other entrance, so it's a second entrance using a door. Here we have created a somewhat short, curvy path leading onto our home. We can imagine a longer path like this to be very cool as well. You can fill the path and nooks with elements, such as lights and other decoration. Just make sure to plan for it, so that you have a wide enough path without obstacles. Then, in our case, we got two fenced off areas, which we have filled with some trees and other elements as to make it look cozy and interesting. Again, the sky is the limit here. Now to our last and final inspiration for you. So, what do we have here then? A square and a double row of posts. So nothing too special with this, right? Well, this square is actually a disguised light. While hidden inside, the game still allows you to access and control it, and it looks awesome. You might have guessed what the row is for as well now. Correct, we have also hidden lights inside of it. Let's turn them on. Now that's epic and unique for sure. Lights can be placed afterwards for both these ideas. In the square we have used a ravenwood lantern, though there are other options that can be used as well. For the row we have used spooky candles. They are only available during Halloween, so you might have to look at other alternatives. Though if you have them, the glow effect is really cool. Okay then, that's all we have for today. Hopefully we could inspire you and maybe you even learned a thing or two about fences. Do check out our channel for more secrets, showcases and guides for Palia. And if you like our content, we do appreciate a comment and a thumbs up.